What's up, everyone? I am very upset. I'm upset at the state of the world. I'm upset at companies' decision. I'm upset at just how. So, as many of you guys know, I am a gamer. But what you guys did not know is how hardcore of a gamer I really am. Like how many games I really play, how much effort and time, and the way I think about when I play my game. At a time when the Xbox 360 was one of the prime consoles, Xbox didn't really have a good category of games I was interested in, except for like Fable and like a few, but the main one was Dynasty Warriors. And I played Dynasty Warriors to the teeth. Like I completed everything until something happened. My HDMI cord broke. And it was the one that came with the 360. So I went and I got another HDMI cord from a friend. I plugged that bitch into HDMI 2 on accident. Not a lot of people know this. Like if you were around gaming when gaming became 1080 to 4K, or even from 720 to 1080, like you seen the graphic difference. Almost similar to how when people felt when they first played the PS5 for the first time. It was like damn. And I replayed the whole game. I didn't get every weapon, but I legit played every character until they were max level. I can go back to that same disc, Dynasty Warriors 8, plug it in my PS5 that has the disc slot, and all my progress is still there. The way these giant companies like Sony is thinking about gaming is wrong. The way that they think about games is wrong. And not just Sony. Any main company that has a giant grasp on digital media are fucking us in the ass right now. I'm sorry. Like they're trying to, at least. Like they're setting up the roadblocks. Today Sony announced that from 2028 onward, they will no longer have physical disc for their games. Games will be 100% digital. We should have seen it, right, when they created the PS5 Pro. But wait, PS5 Pro is supposed to be an alternative, an option, not an only solution, not an only option, right? When people drop the iPhone, they drop the iPhone 18, iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max. Why? Because they know that their fan base, their community is, there's many categories, right? And they just at least want a general way to accommodate for most of those categories. So they have different models. Accommodate for people who can't afford the high end. Accommodate for the people that has the money and want to take full advantage of Apple's new product. They accommodated for both sides. But now what Sony did with this post, what Sony did and stated, basically just said, fuck everybody, and we just want to take your money. It's legit the nicest corporate way a company can say, we are right now legally able to just steal your money. Physical disc production ending in January 28 for new games releasing on PlayStation consoles. Not only is this going to destroy the PlayStation fan base, but if you're making it, you already have digital competition. You have Steam. You have Xbox's new console that's already going to be paired with Steam. PlayStation is so late, and they're pulling the trigger. They're pulling the trigger because they said as consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical disc to digital, physical game disc production for all new games will be discontinued. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation stores and at retailers in digital formats only. What the fuck? So this is how they're going to sell games. I mean, good thing that robbers, bro, if there's people that rob GameStop, you're going to look stupid. They're going to have your game like this. They're going to have multiple new games on the shelves just so you can buy it, and it has a fucking a code? You want physical stuff? They're going to give you the case. It's so anti-consumer. I just feel bad. So I'm making this video because I want to be a voice for those that can't speak, that can't or don't know how to get their voice out there. and comment down below on any concerns you have. But I feel like Sony needs to see this, because I mainly, for those who watch and follow my channel, I am not gonna lie to you, I'm not drifting away from Warframe, but I did pull back heavy. It impacted my channel. I pulled back from Warframe because I seen that games like this that creates a way where there's something that you always have to do. There's something that you always can do. I'm not saying you can't complete and max out in Warframe. I'm not saying there's no in-game in Warframe. There is. It's up to you. Games like that, live service games, digital games, creates a feeling of a FOMO almost. I don't want to say FOMO, but almost like, damn, like I need to take advantage while it's here. Most consumers, most gamers are not thinking like that, because PlayStation or just digital games in general, you have Nintendo contributing to it, you have mobile phones, mobile games contributing to it. They're pulling players away from full-fledged AAA games because they're too invested in these live service games. If I met a very good player in Warframe, I'm honestly not going to be that impressed if he tells me he never played Last of Us 2. He doesn't even know what Last of Us 2 is. You have this change in the concept of what a gamer is, because we have a conflict of old gamers, people who grew up in the 1900s to early 2000s, people who grew up on disc, people who grew up on rubbing their CDs with banana peels to get that spinning, to hear the spinning, like people who push the cartridge into their system, and now they're combating this new generation of COVID babies, of Roblox, of people who really just grew up off of Fortnite, of live service games, because they think that is gaming now. You hop into an anime. If you remember when you first got into anime, I'm sure you were firstly introduced to the big ones, right? You had Dragon Ball, you had Naruto, you had Bleach, you had One Piece. Those were the gateway drugs. Right now, in the gaming industry, our gateway drugs are live service games. Legit, because they capture the hype in the beginning. People follow it. People want to play with their friends. People look at streamers and see streamers get so many views and see clips, and like the whole perception of gaming has changed for them, because they never grew up on that like, dang, like, mom, can you buy me this game so I can open it, and like while you're driving home, before you can even play the game, you're going through the manual. They never experienced that. They are experiencing like, download now, install now, pre-order, download now so you can get this bonus. That's it. Season pass, battle passes, events, FOMO everywhere. It started off with PUBG. It started off with Fortnite, and it bled the console gaming space. It just is like, mobile games are on the PlayStation now. Like, it's everywhere. I pulled back mainly from Warframe, not because of how Warframe is. If anything, Warframe is the greatest pinnacle of what a live service game should be. Legit, it is. It's the perfect model. There'll be a follow-up video of me reacting to another guy, and I'm so mad because I wanted to make that video, but the guy said it perfectly. Like, Warframe legit is doing this shit. A lot of games that are small, focused on their own community instead of trying to focus on pulling in everybody. I played games like Black Clover on my phone. I played games like One Punch Man, The Hero Nobody Knows, or shit, I think that's the console, whatever the mobile one was, right? That game is fucking beautiful. And even to a point, currently, Grand Cross 7 Deadly Sins, the animation is better than the show. The game is better than most of the Origin. Like, Origins is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but for it being a mobile game, there's so much assets that you can appreciate in those. And Black Clover, the way that game was, it was like a live service, so I couldn't really just invest all day into playing the game. There was blocks, you were hit with paywalls, so you legit were just hit with RNG. If you got good characters that can help you go through the story, if you don't, you just gotta like slowly do the free to play method to eventually beat the story mode. So I barely got to the Lich part in Black Clover story mode because of how the monetization was and how it forced me, that made me feel like I had to spend money to get these units to even progress in the story mode of this game. And I got to, if you don't know who Lich is, just say that's like the end of season 1. By the time I got to season 1 in a season 8 anime, they shut down the game. They shut down the live service game. I cannot play it. All my time that I invested into that shit is gone. And it's all, what? Because of terms of service says they can do so. And so many people are, I don't think they are okay with it, but I think once they get hit, they got to get hit with the worst case scenario before they see what the truth is. And I want to be the one to help explain that part before we even have to suffer. So I put away, because I'm like, if I invest that same amount of time into another game again, and they shut down the servers, what's the point? What's the point in experiencing the cutscenes? If what's the point? What's the point even playing the game if they're not even going to let you experience the end, the finale of the game? That's like watching a movie at a movie theater and they kick you out before the last 30 minutes of the film because they said, oh, I'm sorry, there's only two people in this movie theater right now. We only like playing this movie when all the seats are full, so because there's only 2 people watching this movie, you gotta go. Like, that's how it feels. And that's how all of gaming is going to be if we don't say nothing. If we let Sony just do what they say, because Sony is not going to be the end of it. It's going to bleed to Xbox. It's going to bleed to Nintendo. It already is. The perfect hero for this, and it's perfect timing, because he has already started this movement and we already had signature start in the EU. The Stop Killing Games movement is about this. Legit, if you want to just look up Accursed Farms, listen to Ross, he is speaking the minds that we are all thinking about. Games should be preserved. Games should be something that once you buy, or not even just games, digital media, anything that you purchase and spent money on should be yours. A life of licensing, it's like, bro, if you're not old enough, when you get insurance, you gotta pay the state money just to drive your car. After you bought your car, you own your car, you can't drive it. You can't drive your car if you don't have the appropriate licensing for it. You can't drive your car if you don't have an active tags. If you don't have your tags, you can't drive your car if you don't have insurance. You got to pay 3 additional things just on top of paying a huge loan sum of your car, right? Just to drive it. And it's not something that's indefinite. It's something you continuously have to pay over and over again, just so you can feel the ownership of your car. And they are doing the same thing with digital media. You keep paying for battle passes. You keep paying for new events. But then what happens when the day they pull it all from you? You're hearing Sony saying all games are going to be digital media. But it's in the terms of service that if Fortnite wanted to close down their servers, you can't do nothing about it. You are going to end up being a gamer that is paying for experiences. You're not going to own anything. That statement is going to be repeated across every YouTuber, every reporter, every document you read about this case. You will own nothing and you will be happy. And that's what they think gamers are okay with. They are saying we are shifting, but they have created the environment to perfectly set this up. They have created it. Developers don't want to create their games to be offline supported, or when they are no longer supporting their game, they don't want to create a way that preserve that game forever, because there's no money in it. Why? They don't care about you. They just care about money, and this statement proves it. There's no care about the consumer's rights with this statement. Legit, when the PS4 came out, but the PS5 only been out less than 6-7 years, and they were so highly praising about the opportunity to share physical media, to trade your games with your friends, to go to GameStop and sell your games, to buy games used. It was all a ploy just to get you into their family, just to get you locked in so you can keep paying battle passes, things that you don't and will never own. You think I'm lying? Look at Overwatch 1. Look at all the players that played Overwatch 1. They made Overwatch 2. It's an online only game. Scrapped everything from Overwatch 1. Lost all your skins. Oh wait, but players who played the first one, we will give you currency to buy legacy skins for those skins that you had. They took your property away without you even knowing it and gave you something, making you feel like you got it back. But you don't. They can be like, if you don't want to support Overwatch 2 anymore, pull the plug. At this point, we are paying for Concord's failure. Concord's was PlayStation's first live service game that they created, and that shit was horrible. Cause you know why? The live service environment is already too saturated with so much duplicates. Genshin Impact has Wuthering Waves, has Zenless Zone Zero, has Honkai Star Rail, has if we want to talk about just the anime character of how like there's an elemental anime character for all of these games. Grand Cross, Neverness to Everness. We have like the Ananta. It just keeps going, and there's more coming out that is following the same pattern, and they are filling this bubble with the same stuff until the bubble gets so big people cannot involve themselves in any community. So a lot of things inside those bubbles are going to start shrinking. Communities are going to start shrinking because people are just going to the hypes, the big four, the gateway drugs to gaming. And this is a whole structure that Sony has created, that gaming companies and developers have created. There's countless times I've seen a game go for pre-order for, if you get it digitally now, you will get these bonuses. If you buy it digitally now, you will get this. They are cultivating a society, a gaming culture to be digital without telling them, which was one of Accursed Farm's biggest case. We're not telling developers to support their games indefinitely. We are telling developers to tell the truth. If you're making a game that is going to end one day, say that in your game description. Don't call it a game. Call it an experience. Call it a live service. Put the end of service date in your game and see how many people are going to want to buy digital. That's what Sony's not saying. Sony don't want to talk about how players are going to feel. It's so embarrassing because the crew just happened. Look what happened. It became a lawsuit that is going to lead to the EU, supported by Ross. You know, Ross is running that Stop Killing Games movement. It's going to assist the perspective that we are being abused with our consumer rights, and the only way that it can even impact us is if the government steps in. The government have to step in. It happened in Europe already. This movement, Stop Killing Games, is being targeted in Europe. Ross already has stated some things that is starting in the US, specifically California, to get that movement spreading across. But he's legit our only hope right now to help be a voice for the majority of us. I know there's a lot of young gamers that you do not care if games are digital only, but you will when you realize that you're putting so much time and investment. It's going to destroy gamers in general. I told you I pulled away from Warframe because I've been affected by so many live service games shutting down. Why would I want to invest more time into that? I would rather go into Elden Ring to where I can play that game 20 years later and I still have my same progress. No, regardless if From Software shut it down, I can still play my game, and that's what owning and ownership should be about. That's what games should be about, and that's what Sony and Microsoft should have stayed true to their product description and forced that moral standard across all developers that upload games on their platform. It's 100% calculated. The culture 100% cultivated. The movement, you see so many promos about getting things online. So many games are online only now. Like We had Sparking Zero. They didn't want to add split screen into a game that they call it a sequel, because they are trying to stray away from the local, the offline. They want to go to the online digital media, right? It doesn't work like that. They got hit with backlash, and now look, we have local split screen in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. That same type of energy needs to be applied to Sony now, because they are going to buttfuck every game that comes out. You already cannot play the next console. It's not coming out with a disc drive. If they make a disc drive, they're not. The PS6 is not coming out before 2028. I'm telling you now. They already stated that the materials to create a PS6 is going to cost over $1,000, and that's not even MSRP yet before they sell the product. So they're going to be charging so much money for something that should be cheaper, because they're not making any physical media. And then, just like the way that life is, this boom came from COVID. The Pokemon boom that we are seeing now with TCGs came out from COVID, because people had nothing to do. They were stuck in their home. The only way you can communicate was digital, was online. That was because that was just the way life was at that moment during the lockdown. But now, since COVID is like almost a thing of the past, you're starting to see markets starting to mature and go back to normal. But no, not Sony, not these gaming companies. They're like, oh no, this is the now. This is what people are thinking about. This is what they want. We need to act on this. They're not thinking about like, bro, we were just locked down in our houses for months, so of course we had money. So many people got stimulus checks and just bought battle passes. They had money to do that. Now no more. The economy's worse. People are struggling, and things are going to be more expensive now. So we're either going to see the fall of one of the greatest gaming companies, the fall of one of the biggest money making industries, or a rapid change to something that we don't even recognize anymore. What is gaming? Is gaming now equivalent to just going to the amusement park? You're just going there just for the experience. Gaming was never like that. The way that this culture that they're creating is that a game survival is going to be dependent on if players think it's popular or not. And that's never what gaming should be. Gaming should be so many different categories that correlates to a certain depiction of a demographic of a gamer, to where there's a home for everyone. But no, they're forcing a one-way living situation for everybody, and it's going to fucking suck. It's going to ruin everything. Imagine fast food, all fast food restaurants. 90% of our profits, media and card only. Let's get rid of cash. I think, as Mongo said, a good example, like Moist Critical talked about this, and he brought up a good point. Moist Critical, the last 10 games you bought, how much of those games were physical? And I'm sure he might not want to say it because it would hurt the argument that physical is good, but at the same time, it's not the full picture, and Sony wants to make that the full picture. Sometimes I get digital games because I just don't have the time and resource to go out and get it. Did I say physical? So yeah, digital, because I don't have the time and resource to go out and get it physically. Like I said earlier, they give you incentives for getting the digital version, for getting it now. They give you incentives. It's not something that the consumer just wanted and we just became like this. It's something that we were forced to be in. We all have choices on what games we play, but think about it. They are legit stating and letting the younger generation lead their choices. Because the younger generation, there's more gamers in the younger generation, of course, but the younger generation don't have the money as the older generation. Your sales and stuff isn't coming from the younger generation. It's coming from the older generation, the ones that have been with you the longest time. Power World is a perfect example. People have been with Pokemon forever. There's adults that still play Pokemon because they grew up with it. Pokemon still just wants to cater to kids. they are going to lose that older end of their fan base that they try so hard to pull in. But it shows you their focus. They don't care about you. They care about the demographic that brings the money in. The demographic that brings the, I'm not even going to say the money. I would say the attention, right? The attention. As you get older, you get less time to spend towards the things you want because you have to do real life stuff. You have to have a job. So that attention that you're giving to them starts to decrease. So companies are looking at that and being like, those values don't matter. We need to value the people that are playing these games more, because that is what we're going to base our data from. And it's like, I can tell you countless games that I have digitally right now that I will still go back and buy the physical copy because I want the physical copy still. I want the box art. I want the manual. I want the security of knowing. I know myself, if I buy a game digitally and God forbid a country hits us with an EMP and there's no internet, I have that satisfaction that I can still plug in my console, or shit, if there's no power. Okay, if there's no internet, right? I can still plug in my console and put the disc in and still play the game. I still have the satisfaction and security of the things I bought. And that's what they started this culture with. And now they're just switching it to this culture that legit steals money from you. You're not owning nothing. You're not owning nothing. I can't play Dragon Ball Z no more because people would rather play GTA 6. They're more hyped to play GTA 6. Like, what type of culture does that mean for people that are interested in so many other things? I love Warframe. It's a live service game. I wish I can show you my screen. I spent more than 5,000 hours in that game. But I love playing offline games because in that time I get exposed to different ideas, different concepts, different developers, different storylines. I bring that back to Warframe. I come back with different customizations for my Warframes that were inspired from new things that I learned. But no, live service games keep players trapped. Asmongold, I think, made a perfect example how World of Warcraft used to have games or the progression was like, you do this stairs, you do this update, you do this next part of the story, you're growing, you're it's like a stair, like it's a progressive feel to it, to the game. You leave the game, you come back in the same spot. But now games are not like that no more. It's a FOMO feel. I bet there's many players right now that play Fortnite that are thinking like, damn, I cannot skip this event. I do not want to be that guy that don't have the skin. Damn, I cannot skip this. I cannot not buy this emote. Like, it's too infected into the younger culture, for one, because they're too young to even know. Like, all the big games are still running. Fortnite, Warframe. There's going to have to be like Apex Legends. It's going to have to shut down to get a lot of kids to know. I've seen so many pranks about moms saying they're telling their kids that Roblox CEO died, so they're cutting off the servers. It
was found dead.
Roblox?
So all Roblox games would be shut down and it would not be any more Roblox.
It's destroying them. They're crying. Like, imagine when they're older. It's going to be the same concept when they realize and they have a bigger concept of what time and life and value means to them, and they see that value just ripped from them with no chance of fighting back. So that's what I just wanted to say. Like, this is wrong, and it basically is illegal. This is basically what is happening to the crew, but on a bigger scale. All games are getting impacted like this. The terms of service should never be overriding the law. Consumer rights is just as serious as something, and just as serious for something as small as owning a video game. Because if they can take your video games away from you, they can take your movies away from you, they can take all forms of digital media away from you. And this is the culture and society that we're being we're turning into. We're turning into a digital society. Phones, computers, Wi-Fi, internet. It's all like, it's a shift for sure, but it's sad. It's sad to see. If this doesn't change, it's sad to see. Honestly, like, I cannot play a game under the fear of knowing it can shut down and be like unplayable for me. I can't invest time into that. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like, why? How does that even make sense to the CEOs of Sony? Unless it only makes sense to them if they are only thinking about the money. And that's what this document, this statement is stating. That Sony only cares about the money. And you should care more about your values and what you own. And you should care about your rights. And you should speak. You should speak for yourself. Because if you close mouths, don't get fed. If we don't speak, they will just abuse us. And we're in the wrong for it. Because no one fought back. No one said anything. No one exposed them. No one took a stand. But we are. It's not 100% lost. Accursed Farms, please check out his video. Please support his campaign. Please speak out, because this legit is just the beginning. If we let them get their way, and it changes everything on you owning what you own. That's all I wanted to say. I feel like I can keep I can keep talking about it, but thank you guys for watching. Cherish your games, cherish your time, value what you think is right, and don't let these corporate companies screw you over. Don't let them do whatever they want, because remember, terms of service does not overwrite the law. We are not going to pay for Concord's failure, and we should just support gaming and gaming preservation and the right to own for everything, for everyone. It's common sense. It should be common sense, but it sucks. So we'll just follow up. I'll keep you guys updated. We'll keep our eyes on how this is. If this is just like how Fortnite, with their skin policy, how they were like, from this season onward, these skins are going to be able to be sold in the item shop, because they knew that like they can't go back on that battle pass. People thought that once you got this and it's over, it's not coming back. That's what they were sold. But they can't go against that statement, that ideology that they created. So they had to create a new law so that they're protected from that liability. And Sony is trying to do their steps the same way. They're trying to get their foot in the door. Accursed Farms impact on Stop Killing Games should impact games. Maybe we might see this happen a year or two in advance, maybe 3. Sony is trying to get ahead of the game. They're trying to milk out as much as they can from this method, from this system of gotchas, of first-person shooters, of single player online only, RPG online only, looter shooters, battle royales. They're trying to milk out as much money as they can from the consumer before it's too late. And all I'm saying is that we should tell them that it is already too late to do that, and it's wrong, and take a stand against what we believe is right as gamers. But it is bad news. It does suck, and I hope I can try to be some type of form of copium for you guys in this era of gaming. But just keep your eyes out, preserve the games you love if you really love that game, and yeah, that's about it. You guys have a good one. Be safe and keep up the grind. Peace.